You're going bald. You're completely screwed. That's it. It's game over. You'll never get laid ever again. Yeah, right. My name's Stirling Cooper. I'm an award-winning adult film star, former high-class male companion, and I'm here to help you transform your sex life. In today's video, I'm going to talk about coming to terms with going bald and how it affects your attractiveness to the opposite sex, how it affects your sexual market value, as people like to say, because I've been getting a shit ton of questions and comments about this over the last year, and I thought, God damn it, it's about time I do a video on it to appease you guys and talk about going bald. So the first thing I'm going to tell you guys is, why the hell do you even care that you're going bald? Like, honestly, this is why it took me so long to do this video, is because I have never in my entire life, honest to God, on my grandmother's grave, I swear on her grave, I have never in my entire life given one single solitary fuck about my hairline. About the fact that I'm balding. Like, look, you can see that damn hairline. I do not honestly give a shit. Now, it helps that I do have a nice symmetrical head. I'll admit that. I look good bald. I actually look a lot better bald than I ever did with hair, with a receding hairline. I have what's called a widow's peak. It does that thing. It's genetic. I can't help it. I know what my dad looks like. I've seen my dad's hairline growing up. I knew that it was destined for like widow's peak territory. I've seen my older brother's hairline. I know exactly what his hair was going to look, what my hair was going to look like his later on. So, like, I'd already kind of come to terms with where my future was heading, so I never even tried to kind of make this hairstyle, or a hairstyle with hair, work, because I knew that I was going to end up bald anyway, right? And I'd seen both my brother and my dad with shaved heads, and I'm like, they look better like that, so why the hell wouldn't I do that? I remember when the first time I ever shaved my head, it was actually out of sheer boredom. I was floating on a boat down the Amazon River. I was on this sort of jungle tour going from like Brazil to Peru, and it was like 5 days on this boat, and there was nothing to do. It's literally just like jungle and then a slowly moving boat, and you have like there's like 5 dudes on the boat playing cards and some beers, and that's about it. So we got drunk one night, and I was like, stuff it, shave my head. Some dude had like a buzz clipper. I'm like, all right, cool. We did it as a laugh, and I liked it. I was like, okay, cool. It's actually ain't that bad. And so I just stuck with it since my like mid-20s. Again, because I kind of knew my hair was going in that direction, right? So what I'm trying to get across to you guys here is like, play to your strengths, okay? Like, if you have a symmetrical shaped head, you will probably look really good bald. Now, later on at the end of this video, I'm going to give you guys some things you can do to prevent hair loss if you don't have the most symmetrical shaped head. But a lot of dudes are really paranoid about like, oh, it's going to affect my sexual market value, it's going to make me unattractive, blah, blah. Dude, do you think I don't get laid? Seriously? Like, this has made exactly zero impact on my like ability to get laid. In fact, I get laid more since I've been bald. And you know what? I get the most looks from women when I have like a freshly shaved head, you know, clean cut, looking sharp, looking well groomed. That's the difference. Like, you look good bald if you're well groomed. You don't look good balding. And that's a really important thing I need to make. A really important point I need to emphasize here is there's a big difference between bald and balding. Okay? Bald is sexy. Okay? Balding is not. So that's the difference between being groomed and not being groomed, right? Like having a barber like shave it all down, get my beard in line everything up nice. That's well groomed. That's bald. That's sexy. Balding is the dude who sort of fights it, who just like tries to do a comb over, and it's like obvious that his hairline's receding or his hair's thinning out, and he just sort of goes along with it. That's balding, and that is kind of like unattractive because it's just a lack of social awareness, it's a lack of grooming awareness, you know, it's a lack of image awareness. So that's why balding isn't as attractive, but being bald in itself ain't unattractive. There are so many examples of dudes who are totally bald, who are like peak sexual market value, you know what I mean? Like The Rock, Jason Statham, he's another example. me, right? There's lots of dudes out there, totally bald, having a great time. In fact, I wish I had less hair, so I didn't have to keep fucking shaving the thing every goddamn week. It's a pain in the ass. It's like, oh, there's like an hour out of my week I've got to do to stay well groomed. I wish it just didn't grow back at all. Now, one thing I will say again is that if you have a bad head shape, a non-symmetrical head shape, going bald probably isn't gonna be beneficial for you. I remember we had this kid back in school. He was we had a position called like head boy, which is kind of like valedictorian equivalent in America or something like that. Like kind of like the student liaison kid. And he shaved his head and he had a very, very unsymmetrical head. He had a giant head, in fact. And so we started calling him our big head boy. Yeah, we were dicks. But look, one thing I will say is if you want to grow the size of your head downstairs, then you should definitely check out my ebook. Links are up in the corner there. Now, if you really don't look that great bald, there's a couple of things you actually can do to prevent your hairline from receding and stick with it, keep the hairline there. But again, you've got to play to your strengths and you've got to figure out, okay, what style works for me? What kind of image works for me the best with what I have, with the assets that I have? Too many dudes sort of like get wrapped up in their personality around their hair. And so when they start losing their hair, it really affects their self-esteem. There's a really good part of like in the movie Fight Club where he starts shaving his soldiers like heads and stuff. And that kind of resonated with me with this like what the fuck do you care? Why do you care about this? Like it's kind of freeing when you shave your head for the first time. If you've been holding on to your hair for like ages, you know. First off, do not take the drug finasteride. It's marketed as this drug that stops hair loss. Dude, that will plummet and destroy your sex drive. It will take away your masculine vigor. Like, it's horrible for you. Do not take it. Your hairline is not worth losing all your sex drive. It's a terrible, terrible trade-off. Don't do it. Now, there is a drug you can get prescribed by your doctor. It's basically copper peptide. And what that can do is that can help increase the strength of your hair follicles and inhibit follicle death. Copper peptide not only plays a significant role in regeneration of new hair growth, but it also makes your existing hair look and feel thicker by increasing the follicle size. So once again, you can get that prescribed by a doctor. A few more ways of preventing hair loss, if you want to go down that route, is you could just get a good old hair transplant. They take it from like back here. It's like called the donor area. So if you've got like strong hairline, like strong hair at the back of your skull, they kind of take that and they put it in and fill in the gaps in your where your hair is receding. It costs about $6,000, and you want to use it. You want to get it early. You want to get onto that kind of. If you're going to go down that route, you don't want to do it when it's really, really thinning. You want to jump on it early. So you want to kind of recognize your hair's receding, your hair's like falling off, falling away. And that's when you want to get your hair transplant. You get on that problem early. Another thing you can do, again, if you kind of want to go down the bald route, but you're worried about like the receding hairline, kind of like how mine does with this widow's peak crap, is there's basically like you get dot tattoos. I've seen guys who do this before. They basically tattoo in the missing parts of your hairline to look like stubble, so that when you shave, it still looks like you have the full hairline, but you just shaved it down. So being well groomed is obviously a good way of improving your chances of getting laid, presenting yourself well. But there is a whole bunch of other things you can do, which are going to significantly increase your chances of getting laid on the first date. So you should definitely check out this video right here where I discuss them.